Into this morning's live. One good thing that we're seeing with confluency here is that XRP is at least on this weekend trying to push up towards that $2.42 area. We'll talk about the significance of that area as we go through this live. I first want to start off by thanking everybody who's taken the time this weekend, especially today on this Sunday, the last day of the weekend, to take time to check in, to join us in our active discussion here, and try to add some credibility or at least some information to some who might be desiring it. Maybe for others that might not understand exactly what's going on in the cycle. It should be an interesting live today. I don't know how far this is going to push out because I haven't even gotten an alert from my phone or anything. I went with a different picture just because I was sick of using the same one all the time, and I liked the message that it pushed inside of the photo for the live. But we'll see how many people are in here. I don't expect it to be all too crazy this morning. One, because my analytics and my algorithm are not pushing through at all. Like I said, I haven't received anything on my phone, my tablet, Julie's phone, my son's phone, my other stuff. So whoever ends up in here, I am eternally grateful for. And for anybody who watches this after, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to allow me to do what I do best and try to put out this information and try to stay ahead of the ebb and flows. So Shane, welcome in and be safe on your way to church, my friend. Have a blessed service. Says, good morning, Tom and Army. Have a blessed Sunday. Car full of kids on my way to church. Be safe, my friend. I respect that you're going to give thanks to our Lord and Savior. Shane, G. Stott, and Alex Carbonelli, good morning, and thanks for being in town on 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Florida attorney Rudy, Anna Mae, Ken Saunders, welcome in. Ken says, I reside on the permanently docked USA aircraft carrier known as the UK. Thank you so much for your service, my friend. We salute you, Ken. Stay safe, friend. Stay safe, and thanks for checking in and letting us know where you're hanging out right now, or at least where you're permanently docked, I should say. Nickel Trickin, welcome in along with Scott Lowry. Thanks for being in town. Sorry for your first month with the emoji badges and me being abducted by aliens. Tanya, welcome in. Love this morning got even more spectacular seeing you in here. Give your daughter my love as well, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Incredible. Amanda, Defined, and Marco, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Yeah, Tanya, I'm glad you got that. I sent one out myself. I didn't have anything. So I sent one out to the general people on YouTube and then to the community that subscribed. So hopefully that reached some of you as well. And Define, thanks for being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Says, hey, everyone, hit that like on the way in. Consider subscribing and joining Tom's Army for the best technical analysis on YouTube. If you are not in the Telegram, you're missing out. I agree. And I think that'll pick up as the markets pick back up. I think we could see a crazy flip too. And I'm not saying gold and silver would go down. I think we're going to get a lot of money that was flipped out of crypto into gold and silver before that rally at the beginning of the year. I think in 26, we're going to get some of the flip back because we're more, and this is something that I think is very, very informative. And if you're not part of my Facebook, please join. I love, that's the picture I used in my live, as you know, when you clicked on it. I did something different. I created it myself with a little help of AI. And I just said XRP target $6.39 despite calls that alt season is canceled. And then I put a date there. Very significant date, I think, as we get towards that time. It won't be that date exactly, but it is my brother's birthday, my nephew's birthday as well, on November 12th. And then I put this down, and I won't be able to share this with YouTube. I put it on my YouTube comments, like my post. So you can always go into YouTube and take a look at my post. They just don't push posts around on YouTube. So there's almost no point of doing it. 12 people have seen it, 4 people commented. So I do like to do it. And what I put down, I thought just an acknowledgement. I put acknowledging divine blessing. I express gratitude for the gifts received. I pray for the courage to utilize my abilities in service to others, overcoming any apprehension and embracing decisive action. I trust in divine guidance to positively impact those within my sphere of influence. Recognizing the unique qualities and talents bestowed upon me, I seek clarity in identifying these gifts. Furthermore, I pray for freedom from comparison, maintaining focus, and avoiding self-comparison in accordance with faith. Amen. Very, very important scripture. Some of you can target it if you so choose, but it's just a blessing and a thanks on this Sunday to our Lord and Savior for giving me the ability to understand this stuff and be able to push it with my gift of gab and the ability to not seek, let's just say, higher retribution by a form of monetary gain. Where was this at? What was I trying to show it? Oh, gold. Gold. I put this out yesterday, which I thought was awesome. On October 18, 2013, which was from yesterday, the price was at 007942 12 years ago on yesterday's date. And then the value of, let's see. Where is this at? I put this out. Maybe it wasn't yesterday. Maybe it was a couple days ago. Oh, right here. Bitcoin is now the most undervalued against gold since the FTX crash. So I could see a sense of money flipping from risk off to risk on as we go into quantitative easing, as we go into rate cuts even further here at the end of the month. I think we're going to get an influential flip. Not saying everybody's going to sell out of their gold and silver. I'm saying we're going to get some money, newfound money that was made this year. And I think some of it's going to find its way back into crypto. But what we have to talk about this morning is significant. Yes, I'm happy we're up, but not in the way it's happened, ladies and gentlemen. You see that Bitcoin CME futures, remember last Sunday when we were a couple thousand below the number and I said we have to come back up? Monday morning, Sunday night when the CME opens, I think it's 6, 7 p.m. on Sunday. Chicago Mercantile Exchange will open. We're out of whack right now. We're out of whack, and don't get too excited here. Because now we've left a gap here. The gap from Friday when the CME closes 106,675, and this is not to piss people off. This is not to make you feel like, oh my God, look, we're finally greening down. This cocksucker's telling us it's going to go down right away. No, I'm simply saying that you're going to leave yourself in a tricky spot if you're buying the rise here when we got this gap left from Friday. It's at 106,675. We're almost 2K over it. Last weekend, we were almost 2K under it, and what happened? We broke back up into the gap area. So pay very close attention to this. Pay very close attention to that as I get into the intro. Good morning. 10:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, October 19th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I got such nice comments too yesterday from some of you, even on Facebook, that were watching the lives. Anna, if you're out there, saying how she just had so much fun as we were going through, and she thanked me for answering questions. There's a few of you, and it just made me feel really good reading through it because I know we're doing the right thing here. I know we're doing the right thing. And we're trying to put the information out as properly as we can. So it takes an effort. It does. But I think we do a good job. And Defined is here, even though he doesn't have power at home from the storms yesterday. He's working on his battery charge. I know he's got a little bit of, a store of power in his, a few ways that he has. But once that generated power runs out, he'll be finding himself in his truck, so to say. He probably is during this live, like he was saying. But I really appreciate that, Defined. And hopefully it comes on soon, because we've been getting some storms here all day today. It's going to be raining. My short that I did, I'm getting poured on, but I like to do it outside. I just do. Jerry Clark, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands as well. Burn Everything, Quicksand, Living the Dream, and John Damsma, welcome in. Damsma, Tom from the Mile High City, welcome in from the Mile High City, John. How do you think the Fed meeting on October 21st with the tokenization meeting hit the markets? It's going to be interesting. That meeting comes not too long before the next rate cut decision. I think there's a lot of stuff that can develop here. And somebody shared this morning on my post on Facebook, which I really like this comment because, let's see. Somebody shared, Christopher, if you're watching this live this morning, thanks for sharing this put from Donald Trump's verified account. A U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed the Presidential Working Group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Solana, and ADA. I will make sure the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. We're making America great again. So is this actually going to happen? Or is this just a bunch of tomfoolery? Anna, thank you so much for that. Appreciate the fact that you guys like what I shared this morning. But anyhow, there's a lot of information on Facebook when I'm not live. I like to go on there because I can share the text posts, and I probably do 10 to 15 different posts a day in the recent couple of weeks, which gets anywhere between 11 and 20,000 views a day on Facebook, roughly. So it's growing. It's ever growing. Definitely hit a stride here. They don't recommend my page, so I lose out on recommendations. So this is all just people going and looking, which is nice. We're up 86% on views. However, you see, even though it shows the last 28 days, the biggest gain was from October 5th and on. Because once we hit the stride on October 6th at 14,000, we've been no less than 11,600 every single day. So that's nice. Nice to see an increase in engagement. So hopefully some of you will follow over to YouTube, and some of you from YouTube will follow over there so we can continue the back and forth. Arichi Farms, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Quicksand, welcome in from South Africa. One of the favorite holding spots for Algorand. South Africa loves Algorand. I'm sure you've heard a thing or two of being out there. Hopefully so. It's a big area on their books. Damon Smith, good morning. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Vadodamus, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. We the Bank, good morning. Brent, Aunt Linny, Jay for Mix, and Terry Hayes, good morning, and thank you all for being in here. Terry, welcome back as well. Love it. Been here for a while now, and I know because I always see the all-seeing eye with the Illuminati on your picture, and I love it. Mark Caston, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. So let's take a very important look here. So Bitcoin at 108,430 is a key indicator right now. Too high. What do you mean, Tom, too high? We just fell out. And I'm getting sick and tired of you being sick and tired of these price movements up. I'm not sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm very observant to the fact that Bitcoin's moved up about $2,000 here while the CME gap is sitting down here. So remember what happened last weekend. Let's go back to last Sunday. On Sunday, let's see, where were we at? October, we're on the 19th, so we're somewhere. The 10th, we closed at about 6, somewhere around here. Then we came down Friday, Saturday, and then on the Sunday, I don't know where it came down, somewhere in here. We closed up here, but we came down here. We came right back up to finish where we closed. Going into Sunday, Monday, then we continue down. Now we came back up a little bit. Probably going to come back down here. I don't really see why we wouldn't, because we got to fill that gap. Unless we start to run out, and then we're just going to have to fill the gap later, which you don't want to do. Remember when Bitcoin left the 110K gap and we went all the way to 126, just to come all the way down to 101? We don't want to leave ourselves in that situation again. We want to fill these gaps leading into Monday. I can't help that the Chicago Mercantile Exchange gap is left, and that we work on a trading algorithm. I would love to come in here and say, hey, we're at 104,000, and we got a gap up of 2,600. Like last week, when we had a gap up of like 1,500. Now we have a gap down of almost $2,000. So it's just something we have to deal with. It's not to make anybody uneasy. It's not to make anybody say, oh my God, crypto is a big pile of shit. No, it's to tell you, if you're looking to buy at this exact moment, you should get a depreciation going into, the start of the week. It doesn't always happen that way. So we preface it every week when it ends up being, out of whack like this. The fact that we could run before we have the further correction, but it's in our best interest to come down and clear that gap as soon as possible. So that's just what's been left, and I think you all are smart enough, educated enough, and deserve the respect for the truth. I'm not going to come on here and say, hey, we're up 2.1%, we're looking at a 37% move today. No, if we can come back and back test properly, we're going to prove that we're able to push back up and over. We're able to hold this area of support, which that 103 was important. Now bouncing back up to 108 and then back testing right around 106.5 would be good. Then you bounce back out to about 111. Not that people listen to idiot Andrew Tate, but he's stating Bitcoin going to 24K. Wait a minute, 24K ate the charts. I don't trust a damn thing Andrew Tate says. That guy's the biggest douchebag I've seen in a long time. No offense to anybody who likes him. But that guy's controlled opposition. That guy says something I would expect to do the opposite. There's not a single thing I've ever seen that guy say that I was like, oh, I respect that. Guy's a tool and a half who stole money from you, and you guys are too oblivious to even understand because most of my audience still listens to him. That guy has stolen so much money, it's a disgrace. In the charts, I don't believe he can read a chart. I've watched his content. That guy couldn't read a chart if I pointed a dart at where he needs to go next, personally. But according to the charts out of the rising wedge, if it breaks down, it gets you down. I mean, 28K isn't on the chart yet. You could go 92, you could go 68, you could go 72. To come all the way to 28K, why stop there? Why stop there? If we were going to go to 28K, why would we stop there? If we were going to 28K, like Andrew Tate says, we're coming way lower than that. No offense to anybody. I'm just saying. If we come to 28K, Bitcoin's going way, way, way lower than that. Why stop there? It's over. If we go to 28K, every single person who invested over the top, MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, all these countries, all these businesses, all the collateral taken out on Bitcoin, we're going sub 10K. Easy. So why stop at 28? Anybody can throw a dart and say we're going here. I guarantee he doesn't know how to read a chart. I can almost 100% guarantee, because he reads from a script. There's no way that that guy can read a chart. It's impossible based on the information he gives. He might know how to read a chart about disrespecting women and that kind of stuff and feeling like he's alpha male. But you know what that just means behind closed doors. He's probably taking it up the ass. But that's just the way it goes. So if Bitcoin can hold 103,946 area, we could hold this and it'd come up to 129 and try to re-examine that area. But this rising wedge, no pun intended, is down to 92,411 is the target out of that rising wedge. So, that's if we break down. We could very well break down again, Frankie. We very well could. That's why I have these levels very specifically edged out on here, because if we don't and we start breaking up, it'd be good, because we could. See, here's the argument. We're either in this rising wedge, which we already know the rising wedge broke down initially, or we're in a rising triangle that has evolved here. And if that's the case, that's how we start to push. So my personal thing is, remember in January when I came out with the message of this, because I said we topped, and every single influencer debated and disagreed, and they were telling you to buy the exit liquidity. Now it's the opposite. Every single social media influencer is telling you now what? Go short. It's over. We've topped. Alt season topped, even though we've never come off the bottom for alt. So how can you have a topping if you're still on the bottom? So just think. I find it ironic that there's people that are starting to put future millionaire in their title.
I'm so glad you're here with me today.
Like, imagine.
I hope you're having it.
Imagine, and then he starts putting XRP stuff. That's kind of a kick in the dick right there. Go be original, sir. Why you gotta write off of what I'm doing? So, but that person will never get anywhere. You can't be doing stuff like that. They got to be original. Anyhow, because now all my stuff's gonna come up when they put future millionaire, and then it's just gonna go to mine anyhow. So I get caught in the algorithm loop. So you might want to change your name, my friend. You're not going to get very many views like that. They're not going to go to you. Lesson learned in social media. But that was my flip. Now I think, while everybody's doing the flip I talked about in January, and now that we're investing on this big drop that we invested back into crypto, and now that gold, silver has hit this parabolic spike, we've hit a lot of different places here. In the weekly with Bitcoin, we do have a divergence. It's called a hidden divergence with the relative strength index. See how that support structure? You've got the downtrending support breaking down with the relative strength index. It's where this yellow line is right here. Let me, it's very easy to see. Starting on the 16th of June down to the 13th of October, we have a hidden divergence because we have the Relative strength index clearing out thanks to that big dump. And then if you go to price action on October 13th, what was the start of this? Let's see. June 2nd, right here. Down in, where is the start? Right about here. You see the prices right here? On Bitcoin, 98,000. Then it pushed up here to 103.6. So we have a price increase while the relative strength index is decreasing and falling lower into the oversold regions down towards past neutral or towards neutral. So we're depreciating on the relative strength index, which is good, while the price action is going up. That's a hidden divergence in the weekly. That's actually a bullish sign. That's a bullish signal. That is a very bullish signal. So once you develop and understand that hidden divergence there, that's why I had to put the RSI. You don't see the hidden divergence with the stochastic RSI because the stochastic uses more information and more different indicators within one. So seeing that hidden divergence is very bullish. I think a lot of these I'm serious. Once you get on the wrong track and you are on the wrong side of the tracks, you can never get back on the right side. They're calling it bullish when it's bearish for 9 months. They're calling it bearish when it's actually breaking into the most bullish fundamental setup that it's had. Now that we're clearing out, and nobody says it goes up from here. What I am saying though is while they're telling everybody to go short all the way down to 50, 60, I mean, if it's going that far, remember, it's over. There's too many people that are leveraged out on Bitcoin, too many corporations and businesses and countries that are leveraging out, taking loans on Bitcoin to where this would just completely capsize if this happens. So it's just one of those things, guys. Why are we selling the fear and buying? It's an extreme fear and everybody wants to sell. All the influencers saying why it's all over. But they were all telling you to buy an extreme greed when I was telling you it's over, it's topped, we need to sell. How does this happen? Now when I'm telling everybody to buy on a 65% drop, all these schlubs that told you to hold the top are now telling you not to buy the extended bottom again. It's insane. And yes, Brighton, the objective here that I've been talking about is this alt season, not by pricing on some alts because they're so far down, but percentage gains should equal, if not expand past 2017-18 based on what we're doing. XRP is the cream of the crop, the coup de grace right now, so to say. It's come up from a very substantial low of 28 cents, and it's hanging around that $2.40 mark to this day. And just 1 year ago, in November, it was at 39.40 cents. So I love this. The more fear I see, it's almost like I'm taking I don't want to say steroid because, that's what all the muscle builders do, the bodybuilders that tell you, oh, we're doing this natural, it's all about our diet, and then they're just eating steroids, injecting themselves in copious amounts. So as much as I listen to them for exercises, I would never listen to them for diet. Oh, stuff your face with this and that, but you're taking roids. So no matter what you eat, it's going to turn into what you want it to. So it's just like with the charts. You're going to keep listening to the people that have no basis, that can't even look at it and tell you the truth. How I get people telling me what Andrew Tate, BCB, which is, let's see, what did I call it before? Let's see. Business corrupted by, I don't know, anything. You guys can figure out it all, but they're all corrupted. How can everybody say the same message? Haven't you noticed every influencer says it's going down, every influencer says it's going up at the wrong time, now they say it's going. I don't understand. And then I always get compared with these schlubs when I'm the only one who told you it was going down. Exactly where it was going down. The only one who tells you in the bull markets when we peaked. I'm the only one who tells you in the bear market when to buy. I'm the only one who tells you at the cycle midpoint when to sell. I'm the only one who tells you on 65% drops right before they come to be liquid and then to buy the drop and show you the evidence of it. No government opening. No, that has nothing to do with it. Anybody who's pushing that message, Frankie Fresh just doesn't get it. The government has zero to do with this push or break. Them being open has zero. Honestly, them being closed is more bullish for crypto. Because now when they come back, they're going to do even more quantitative easing and quit off quantitative tightening completely like they talked about. We're going to get rate cuts like you couldn't even expect. That's very bullish for risk assets, not bearish. And I love you, Frankie Fresh, but that is not true with the government open. It's actually less bullish for the government to be open. The reason why some are expecting October 31st, and thanks Cannabis Podcast and Frankie Fresh for being in Tom Zone for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Make sure you watch the Cannabis Podcast show here on YouTube for holistic healing. And Frankie Fresh, I hope your hand's doing just slightly better, and give Janine my love in there. Hopefully she's watching. I hope she is. I think she will be. Edgar, you sold all your physical silver this morning. Are you on crack? Why would you sell your physical silver? ETFs aren't even meant to go into play anyhow. Frankie Fresh in October. The ETFs are going to do exactly what they were meant to. You sold all of your silver to buy XRP. That's a ballsy move, my friend, indeed. You went the opposite way. I personally like taking profits from XRP and putting it in silver and then taking more earned money and buying back into crypto, not the opposite. You went the opposite of my plan. I do hope it works out for you, my friend Edgar. But silver is on a 45-year cup and handle that it's finally breaking out of that target. It's well about $100 an ounce, if not more. XRP is speculative at best. But I hope it should work out in a sense, because if we're going into an alt season here like we're supposed to, it should work out well for you. And then hopefully we'll get that rise in XRP, and then you could sell half of it and hopefully reinvest in your silver with the profit. Like my plan is never to sell physical silver or gold. That physical gold and silver sits there as a store value until my kids get old enough, and until this and that and everything in between. But being cash strapped or buying silver, like let's say you bought silver at $20 and now it's sitting at $50, and you're like, well, this is what I want to do. I'm not going to hate on you for it. I'm just going to say my plan is to take profits from crypto and then store it into the metals, and then take the profits still left over that I didn't put into the store value, and then continue to put it into crypto from what I have left. Like I bought silver 13, 14, 15, 18, 20, 25, 27. Never bought it over 28. And then I bought gold all the way up to 2,000. And then I started buying the miners. Now, what I would consider selling, if we do look like we're getting a top in a cycle flip, I would sell out of my mining stocks. But even there, I don't see peak yet. I'm starting to see a run on things, but I don't think we're done just yet. But I do think that's not the worst thing in the world that you did, Edgar, at all. Yeah, there you go. See, bought at 17, sold it for several 100%. So can't hate on you for that. Can't hate on you for that, Edgar. Plus, you're going with your own belief and conviction. So no matter what decision you make, as long as you're comforted by it, what I believe and what you believe are two different things. So you did an absolutely beautiful job buying it at $12. Honestly. So you're allowed to do what you want. You put yourself in a position to where you absolutely are allowed to do that, and nobody can say anything else. Now, me personally, and hey, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I going to pretend to be one here. But with that being said, I may look other ways as well, but the more people are becoming bearish on crypto, it's like we're getting a power up. You feel that? We're getting a power up because everybody who is so bearish, you see how there's no liquidity below? None, zero, zilch, none. It's basically non-existent. Notice how, what the hell is that? The relative strength index, which is not even here because it put spam on there. The fear and greed index, we should say. Let's see. I want this one, I believe. We're still in fear. How can we be in fear today? You're telling me it went up to... Oh, because we went up a few cents. Fear. So we went from extreme fear of 22 and now we're in fear. Could we be rounding the bottom? I don't know. But I will say, when every influencer is telling you to short the market, get out of the way of the market, this isn't a good time for the market. Oh, it tickles my jingle. It tickles my pickle. How about that? It tingles my jingle. It's just like the song. We're almost coming up to our famous Christmas song. And as you guys know, and everybody knows, something I came up when I was a kid, and I need to finish it. Remember, this is what I feel right now. My eyes are watering, my balls are tingling, my Johnson jiggling too. And then it goes on and on and on. I need a real hot mommy to stick my slimy into. And then I need somebody to finish it. I created that at like 14, and it still sounds right, because that's where we're going into crypto. I need a real dumb influencer to keep me out of making dough. You know, they're kind of slow. They're not going to be rolling in the dough with us because they're morons. People are so backwards. I don't know. I don't really watch long. Ever since that Luna debacle, which I called before it happened with the UT stablecoin, when I got in, when I started talking about it in 22, and then it went goodbye. I didn't say you're a moron, Edgar. Not you. Who did I say was a moron? Not you. No, I was saying in general, influencers are morons for saying that we've already topped an alt season when we haven't even had an alt season. My title, Frankie Fresh, is XRP targets $6.39, despite calls that alt season is canceled. So that part of the title is, I believe, the session, the overall target when we boomed out of the bear cycle for many, many years. Remember, XRP got all the way up to 350. On this chart, it's 334. That's January of 18. It took us until November of 24 to bust out, ultimately. This consolidation is normal. It's exactly what we thought would happen. The cycle target led us to 549, ultimately to 638. So in my title, I put that. Now, most influencers in the general public and general narrative now is that alt season is canceled. So I put XRP targets 639 despite calls that alt season is canceled. Time's ticking to mid-November boom. And I believe sometime by mid-November, we're going to start that resurgence and the boom. So while everybody's planning for a big dump, I am not. So Jeffy says, information now separate, information, word spells. Ooh, I like it. I like that. Information, not the people I follow. What do you mean, Lucky? Not the person you follow is calling for the bear market? Then you might be following the right person. So I say, separate the people based on what they know, not by who they follow. So if everybody's calling for a cycle being topped right now, don't follow them, because we haven't had an alt season. If you're following somebody who is on the same path as we are in this community, they might know a thing or two. There's not all idiots out there. Just because 99 out of 100 social influencers don't know what they're talking about and can't read a chart, that means 1 out of every 100 can. There's millions of influencers, which means there's going to be thousands of people that know what they're talking about. Anna, welcome in. We were talking about you at the start of the live. I'm so glad to see you in here. Actually, we were talking about a couple. Anna. It's awesome. I love it. Soul Jeffy says, I'm in formation with Tom because he uses logic and charting. I try. It's the only thing I can do, but sometimes I feel like I'm on an island being let off a plank. And I know some of you feel the same way when you know what you're seeing and seeing what you know, but everybody's telling you you're wrong for what you're seeing. You're not wrong. Even now, we are breaking out of this consolidation. That's why I keep talking about that 242 is very important, because when you get on top of that, you clearly broke out of this 240 area. And the only thing that concerns me is we're doing it at this exact moment right now. That's all. It's this exact moment. I don't like that the CME closed at 106,675 on Bitcoin and we're at 108.3. Because that tells me we got a divergence here of about 1,700 to backtest this move. The fact that, like Tanya said, there's no volume. That's another thing. Mr. Stott says, I do listen to one guy that's on the same page as you so far as TA. Oh, I love it. I love it. When I was heavy in stocks, as soon as influencers started. Me too, lucky guy. I read the white papers as well. I love going through them. I've gone through so many of them with the audience over almost 5 years. It's been great. I love XDC. I'm invested in XDC. Over 150,000 tokens right now. So I do love it. In fact, that's what I was trying to transition into when Edgar said he was selling his stuff to buy all XRP, I was saying, me personally, that daily stochastic RSI is extremely oversold and it's starting to round back up. Weekly's oversold. Stochastic RSI still has a little bit of room to come down. So I'm going to have the stochastic RSI on here from now on, and the RSI, and the moving average convergence divergence is over the top. So look at the top of the chart. I tried to separate this in a strategic way. So volume portfolio, of course, TradingView loves to mess with me with the volume. For whatever reason, they make me put it on every single day. I don't know why. Did they switch the volume? Oh, I was going to say. Where is my volume? Is it not showing it on the XDC chart? Let's see this chart. Okay, so that XDC chart is not showing it. But yeah, I love XDC. I think it's significantly undervalued. Significantly. Sola Jeffy, I love you, brother. The CRO token, I've got 37,000 tokens, not just for the reason you said, but that's why I started the Crypto Visa prepaid debit card, because I had a lot of conviction with CRO, and it was down at 7 and 8 cents when I started that. So I bought a bunch of tokens. I get a bunch when, you get CRO on every purchase. But I know that that's going to be one that never gets talked about and stuff. Yes, yes, yes. I wish I could, lucky guy, but I got kids in the house right now. And John Sampson, thanks for being in town for 52 plus months now, or your 52nd month with the XRP Phoenix badge. It says Algo looks 24 months pregnant. Another one that I really, really think is undervalued. Up 4% on the day. I've got... Julie, where's my phone? Can I have it, please? Thank you. I think I have over 50,000 algo at 13 cents on that drop on average. I love algo. I think it's very undervalued. And I think it's one that has a lot of utility like XRP in different parts of the world. Like, legitimate. But a lot of people hate it. Not me. I'm not a hater of algo. In fact, I love algo. Man, is it pouring outside. Wow. We're getting the shellacking outside. I like it. Hopefully we don't end up like Divine with no power. I think Divine's taking on the brunt for us. Make sure you look in the video description below as well. In the pinned comments for TOOBIT and WEX. TOOBIT in particular. But if you want IOTA, I have it on WEX and Spot. And both those exchanges did not go offline during the high times of volatility. None of them. They did not go offline. And it's just, that's the way it goes. You want to buy on exchanges. You want the tier 1 exchanges too, so you can withdraw to your bank account when time is needed. But you got to find the exchanges when we have high times of volatility that don't force your hand to where you can't trade. So just pay attention to that, that variable. It's there. Make sure when you're looking at all of that, you look at my Facebook page as well so you can follow. We're almost to 8,000 followers. I put a ton of content on there. I mean, a ton. So if you want more and more stuff outside of YouTube, I put a ton of content. But I'm very happy, with the progress we're making. We're getting way more viewers than I expected when the price was this far down. This is a big change for me. Last time we were in the depths of hell with price discovery and things like that on the way down with big drops, we'd get 75, 80 people. Now we're getting 140 people, even when we're bearish, at least in a bearish formation to most. So it's actually really enlightening for me to see all of this, like to see everybody who's on the right track, and it feels right. It feels right now with what we're doing in the community, and it also feels right to do a few things. I like doing special things for the community. Um, I like being a vocal part. The Cannabis Podcast, thanks for the gifted sub. I greatly appreciate that, along with being in Tom's Army for 6+ months as well. Greatly appreciate that. Sola Jeffy, welcome back into Tom's Army. What a beautiful soul that gets that. Back in Tom's Army for a second month with the Dusty's Out House Crypto News. And Sola Jeffy, I know you're very happy to see that you're back in there. Says, hey Tom, what would be your reaccumulation zone for XDC? Mine as well. Buy more if we go lower than my buy price 0390. Since I round dripped like no, you didn't do like donkey because we didn't go anywhere. So your round trip is just accumulation. I respect that. I did the same thing with XRP every time back and forth from 23 on. And I did give 5 gifted subscriptions just now. That is from Dogecoin and You. That's my other channel that I don't use anymore, but it's just I can't do it from my account. So I have to do it from a side account. So congratulations on the 5 who got those gifted subs. Barry, Daniel, Indy Red, New Fun, and RTTV, welcome back into Tom's Army for over 2 years, or over a year with the I Told You So badge. And New Fun, Indy, Daniel, and Barry, congratulations on being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. I feel privileged to be able to donate 5 gifted subs this morning, so thank you so much. I was inspired by the Cannabis Podcast gifting a sub to our community. So make sure you follow his content on YouTube. I know he's just about 500 subscribers right now, if I'm not mistaken. Where the hell is my Cannabis Podcast? Cannabis Podcast. Oh, the Cannabis Podcast. Gotta look at his new video. I didn't know it was out there. I don't know why I didn't see this one. 487 subscribers, so only 13 away from that very important number at 500. Been putting out a lot more content along the way. Make sure you watch. It's just a beautiful thing. Different ways to subscribe there as well. So check out the cannabispodcast.net as well. He does a beautiful job on holistic healing, the decriminalization of marijuana across the country in the USA for cannabis. The fact that it's being rescheduled or attempting to be rescheduled from a Schedule I drug, which is a crime that it was ever there. All the poor souls sitting in jail right now, even in Clawson, even though it's legal now in Clawson and they're putting dispensaries, is a shame. The reaccumulation zone, if it were to fall below, which it never might, it may never fall below this zone. But if it does, 2.9 cents, friend. 2.9 cents would be that readjustment zone. And that's where I would find myself selling out if it broke this structure at 5.3. And then I would just rebuy down here at 2.9 on the drop. I have no problem doing that. It's just I'm not sure if it's going to get down there. I'm not sure it's going to get down there. I know it never retested that structure in this entirety. Just not sure it's ever going to get down there. Especially the closer we get to November. So right now we're looking to hold that 5.3, 5.2 cent area. And then we're looking to push over the top here at about 7.9. So there's a little bit of room for a run here. We're oversold in the daily, in the stochastic, and in the RSI. Weekly, oversold in the stochastic, RSI moving down. Extreme selling on the MACD, moving average convergence divergence in the weekly as it flipped bearish about 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago, but we were in this in real time. Monthly time frame in the neutral area, which I like seeing if we're going to get some kind of a squeeze, but we have to see how this plays out. So I hope that answers your question, Sola Jeffy. If it falls out and we were to lose this support, it would come down to about 2.9. So right around your area you're asking. So that would be the next big area. Tom, I think Facebook is your main platform. Why do you say that? Facebook isn't YouTube's my main platform. I didn't even put any real original content on Facebook until like 3 weeks ago. But I do like Facebook for the fact that I can do all the text messaging. But I guess if you want to talk about my main platform, because I don't just do crypto, I guess. Oh, because I put out so much content. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I do. I put out a lot of content. YouTube, I gotta be focused on, crypto and things, but so. And I connect to more people, that's true. On Facebook. And it's crazy that it's grown to almost, 8,000, what is it at? Is it 8,000 almost now? On Facebook? I definitely get more views on Facebook, but it tugs from a more... But I don't get promoted on Facebook. They banned me from being recommended a long time ago. So when you look at recommendation, it says my page is not recommendable. So that many people seeing and following is crazy. There you go. I like that. YouTube is mainly for your videos. Facebook is for your information. I like that a lot, actually. And yeah, I can put information out in the videos. No. Why I say it's not recommended is because they won't recommend it to others, which means I lose out on 90% of my reach. Because they will push it 10 times more than I can if it's recommendable. The short time that it was recommendable, my views went up to like 40 and 50,000 a day, and then they stopped recommending it after 2 weeks, ironically. And then it went down to 2,000 views a day until I switched my way of doing things. And now I get 11 to 20,000 a day not being recommended. So, but I have very high support by people who recommend my page. I get a lot of beautiful comments. Like, I think I'm 100% based on people who have actually made some kind of a comment. Like, my page health is excellent. I don't remember how. Oh, 6 people have recommended it 100%. Not very many people, but the ones who actually took the time, they all gave me perfect stars and 100% rating, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, we're looking for some some movement. The good thing about crypto, though, on Friday, outside of Bitcoin, we had a down movement on Friday. We closed... we had about... we closed somewhere around here, 230. So I like this movement. I do. But we'll see what ends up happening. We'll see if Bitcoin comes down because we're oversold in the 4-hourly. So, and with XRP, Bitcoin similar. I think what happens here is people get a little excited and then we come back down and melt down into that CME gap. Because it's at about almost $1,800 right now. So if you're asking me what my anticipation is, that's what I think will probably happen. Not because I want it to happen, obviously, but because it needs to happen. It's not our fault we left the gap. Is it? No. It is not our fault. So, now breaking back up within this, it makes sense to gap back into this uptrend. Now, where would it be? Somewhere maybe here, Friday into Monday. So, I want to see what happens here. I want to see. I always get a little nervous when we have a gap on Sunday before the futures market opens. Last week, I was not nervous. I was very happy. Because we were below it on Sunday. Now we're a little bit above. Lucky Guy says we're going to stay above 240. Probably not. We're probably going to melt back down that we hit resistance. And we're probably... so we hit resistance, support. Support will probably come back down for a third support. If I'm guessing. I don't know, though, because if we break out of this, we could come all the way up, like I said in the earlier part, to 264. But we have left ourselves a little bit of a gap here. So, that's just what I'm thinking. It doesn't mean it has to happen because we don't always fill the gaps immediately. But it's just something to pay attention to going forward. You're welcome, Lucky Guy. I love these questions, too. Great group of questions here this morning. Oh, that filled up? Awesome. But yeah, so I think we're on the right track here. I really think we're on the right track. So I encourage you to share this content. I encourage you to hit the like button. We have 92 likes out of 139 people watching. I'd love to see 100 likes in this live. I'd love to see 100 likes before we leave. Going back into this part of things, the crypto fear and greed index right now, up to the minute, I think is 29, which is still in fear. We popped out of extreme fear from yesterday, which we very well could pop back into it. What I do here, we do everything based on facts. We don't do anything based on fear, uncertainty, and doubt. We don't do any projections that don't have a basis. Now let's look into this. If you stuck around, we've got a lot of information we share. So in the daily time frame, these are your long versus shorts. The shorts on Bitcoin are 50.4% short, 49.5% long. If you look at it in the 4-hourly, shorts are picking up just a bit to 51.5% in the last 4-hourly to 48.4% for Bitcoin. Let's go back into the daily and switch it to Ethereum. Ethereum in the daily time frame, 51.8% going short, 48.1% going long, and over the last 4 hours, 50.2% going long to 49.7%. So that gap is closing a little bit on Ethereum as it's widening on Bitcoin. XRP in the last 24 hours, 51.17% is going short. In the futures market, 48.82% going long. And in the last 4-hour candle, 50.7% are going long, 49.2% are going short. So it's flipped a little bit for XRP in the last 4 hours. 24 hours is still short compared to long. So we're starting to get a little divergence here in the smaller time frame. Good morning, Mr. Euler, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6+ months with the XP Predictor, Joseph. I really appreciate that. Adam, good morning to you, my friend. Adam Carrillo, good morning. Frisky Auto says late, but I made it. Hope everyone's doing good. Doing fantastic, my friend. I cannot complain this morning, won't complain, and feel ever so blessed to be able to be in this position to put this content out for each and every one of you. I'm greatly appreciative of the foresight and the insight that I've been given by our Lord and Savior to understand this stuff in the markets. I was given a gift early on in life to be able to see through a lot of the nonsense, let's call it. I don't know why. I don't know why I was given that foresight, but it was obviously, I was given it for good reason. Not for no reason, I can assure everybody that. Anyhow, so one last token of my appreciation this morning. And then we'll wind this down. I appreciate the Cannabis Podcast for his gifted sub this morning as well. It meant a lot to me. Just don't forget to give thanks on this Saturday. Pay attention to the flow of the market because it's very important. And don't listen to what everybody else is saying. Give yourself some conviction. And just try to put yourself in the right light this morning. So that's all the information I really have. The last 5 subs I gifted, I wanted to do it this morning to make a total of 10. Mitchell, Rachel, Red Foreman. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years now with the XP 589 Moon Badge, Red Foreman. TF, Andrew, Rachel, and Mitchell, welcome into Tom's Army for your first month. As I'm blessed to give out those 10 gifted subs this morning. And the Cannabis Podcast, thanks for gifting another gifted sub. Really, really appreciate that. And Motham Viper, welcome into Tom's Army with your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Thanks to the generosity of the Cannabis Podcast. Gotta go, everybody. Be blessed. Mrs. Stott, I welcome you in, and I really appreciate you tuning in. I know you're late, but not too late. And I gotta go though. I wanna continue what we're doing. Julie's making bagels right now. I just want to make sure my son's good, and we'll be back tonight around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to look at the futures market, see how we're swaying, see if Bitcoin's come down at all to fill, the differential and the gap from the CME. It's about $2,000 right now. So just pay attention to that this morning. So have a great day, everybody. Be blessed, and thank you all so much for being a